From 2001 to 2019, KTM won the Dakar Rally. That's 18 years in a row. And meanwhile, they managed to produce some of the best and most iconic adventure and enduro motorcycles on the market. Bikes that always took their owners seriously, and they never accepted a meh for an answer. Well, recently they released the KTM 390 Adventure, and in my opinion, I think that this time KTM dropped the ball. Well, a little. Hello adventurers, my name is Diogo Guerra and this is OFFroad Offcourse. I am an off-road instructor and also a tour guide. And on this channel I make motorcycle reviews, sometimes I share my adventures and also instructional videos. Just a quick note, the image quality during this video is not gonna be great, because most of it was shot during the sandstorms here in Europe, so I apologize for that. Well, today, thanks to my friend Diogo Guerra, we have here a KTM 390 Adventure. To be fair, being a KTM and also having the label Adventure on its back, this motorcycle had pretty big shoes to fill, which might explain why it felt so underwhelming to me. But, like we say in Portugal, I am already putting the wagon in front of the bulls. So, before any more destructive positivism, let's see how this bike actually handled the three most common environments: city commuting, long distance traveling and off-road, of course. With a curb weight of 175 kilos, the 390 Adventure is not that light, and the seat height is not that low, but the center of gravity is, and the bike does not feel too heavy or intimidating, which is something young riders, unskilled riders and the unconfident will surely appreciate. At the same time, the bike looks big, and it feels powerful and dignifying. Because of its size, the 390 can easily carry a passenger, something I tested with Cristina. And although she didn't like how hard the seat felt, she was happy with the ergonomics and the available room, something uncommon on these low displacement bikes. The single-cylinder engine on this thing was developed for the KTM 390 Duke, which is sort of a racy, sporty motorcycle, and that might explain why it feels a bit weird in low revs sometimes. It's not terrible, but you end up shifting up and down a bit more than you would like. However, when you open up the throttle and you let it go beyond the 5000 RPMs, that's when this engine shows its KTM soul and becomes really interesting and powerful and fun. So, I told you that I didn't like the motorcycle, but it seems that so far so good. What happened was, when I took this motorcycle for a spin around town, that's when I saw its first red flag. So, one thing I didn't like on the 390 is that the bike felt very stiff, so I reduced the tire pressure to 1.4 bar and I fiddled with the suspensions, just trying to make it as smooth as possible, and it's a bit better, but I still feel the bike underwhelming when it comes to absorbing the ground. Like, it's very stiff, it's very... and I expected better. I'm not saying this is a terrible urban motorcycle. Anything that's not flat, this bike doesn't like it that much, and that's underwhelming in my opinion. Not terrible, not great, but certainly not a good omen for its off-road capabilities. Meh. Well, but moving on, the KTM has a ride-by-wire throttle, so no cable, and the clutch is not hydraulic, but it's very, very light, so job well done. It has a bunch of electronic assists, something that, as you guys know, I'm not very crazy about, and this time was no exception. It has ABS, MTC traction control and also a quick shifter. The ABS is actually really good. In fact, everything that is brake related on this bike felt really good, very safe, very well done. Regarding the traction control, I felt it a bit too intrusive and too abrupt. All it takes is a little bit of extra throttle on a not ideal surface for the thing to kick in and to cut off power in the most displeasing fashion. Regarding the quick shifter, I'm not a fan either. So the reason why I think that all quick shifts are a bit meh, it's because by default all motorcycles have to an extent a quick shift. So I will turn this one off. It's off now, as you can see, and look at this, I'm in third gear, no clutch, fourth gear, fifth gear. All you need to do is this whenever you gear up or gear down. So do we really need the quick shift? Anyone can do this on any motorcycle. So what's meh. But guys, I know that that's just my personal opinion. However, what I didn't like at all about this quick shift in particular is that it doesn't work flawlessly all of the times. When you are riding in low revs, sometimes it will get stuck and then you have to use the clutch anyway in order to shift up or down. And then I have to ask, what's the point of having electronic assists if you cannot trust them 100%? If you need to learn to work around their quirks and their tricks, might as well just learn how to ride the motorcycle properly without all these aids and assists. Am I right? One good thing I can say about these electronic assists is that KTM lets you turn them on or off while you ride. Another good thing is that the ABS, if you set it to off-road mode, it will stay in off-road mode. As for the passkey traction control, it always resets when you turn on the bike. Meh. Because I don't want to come across as being too negative, let me begin this chapter by talking about something good. So I think I figured out what this bike is good for, and it's curvy roads, mountain roads like this. The engine is smooth, it's a real pleasure to ride this thing. The ergonomics are great for this, the bike is lightweight, so it leans into the turns really nicely. It's stable, the suspensions do a great job, the bike is confidence inspiring, and it's just a pleasure to ride it on roads like this. Very sporty. It feels very safe even with the Continental's DKC 80 off-road tires. The suspensions are doing a great job. Yeah, this bike loves it here, and I love it here as well. Oh yeah. Which brings me to the next subject, which is the 390 Adventure felt a lot like a 390 Duke that spent way too much time with the guys of the marketing department. People that know that in order to fool gullible adventure idiots like us, all they have to do is to shove a Dakar-style navigation tower onto any bike, even if it doesn't serve any real purpose. There's no wind deflection whatsoever. Like, my face, it's here. The tower is all the way down there, and this is the tall Puig windshield, and it's as tall as my nipples, so completely useless. Like all of this is wind straight into my face. Like, there's absolutely no wind deflection of any sort, and I'm not even going fast. Like it's very low. It's or very far away, too far away. I don't know, man. I really don't know how they messed up this bad. And it's a shame, because this engine really deserved a better, more comfortable motorcycle to inhabit. The 390's engine has a lot of potential. It feels happy at high revs, it easily cruises around at 125-130 km per hour, almost as smooth as a twin-cylinder. Which means this could have been an awesome low-displacement touring bike, even capable of long hours at reasonable speeds on the highway, if only they had put a bit more effort into it. And I know I'm probably being too unfair. I'm sure a lot of engineers spent a lot of time making this bike the way it is. But I feel that I'm just an idiot in a garage, and I need much better converting my XT660R into a budget Tenere 660. Anyway, despite the poor aerodynamic protection, the ergonomics are actually quite good. The bike feels very comfortable in a nice, typical adventure position. The screen is nice, with a lot of luminosity and color, and it shows a lot of information without being too overwhelming. You can turn the aids on or off, and it lets you connect your phone via Bluetooth, so you can use the handlebar buttons to choose music, get notified of incoming calls, or use a primitive form of navigation. You know, before test riding this bike and making this review, I saw a ton of other reviews for inspiration. And everyone was saying that this bike is very easy to ride off-road, it was freedom-inducing and all of that. And honestly, I don't get it. My theory is that all those people came from big 240 kilos, 20,000 euro, big adventure bikes. And of course, compared to those, this one feels nimble and easy and all of that. But all in all, and it's still a crappy off-road bike. The fully adjustable WP Apex suspension and the shock, it's good, the quality is good, but the size is simply too short. It's only 2 centimeters and 2.5 centimeters bigger than the KTM 390 Duke, and that's very insufficient. To put that in perspective, here's a list of other adventure bikes and dual sports and their suspension dimensions.
Will it do off-road? Yes. I mean, look at me, I'm doing off-road. Like it's not heavy, it doesn't feel heavy, but it doesn't feel... No. Now look at this. It jumps like a washing machine would jump. It's like it jumps if
So yeah, off-roading with a 390 Adventure is a bit weird. The bike is stiff and reactive, and it feels like a door with wheels. And in that sense, it reminds me a lot like the Himalayan, but with a much more powerful engine and much less innocent vibes. It's one of those bikes that you have to cater through everything that it's not completely flat. And you have to always keep in mind where you are placing your wheels. If there's a pothole or a rock on the road, you find yourself squeezing your butt cheeks. There's not a lot of ground clearance, and the engine and the exhaust are protected by a plastic sump guard that somehow feels insufficient to deal with anything half serious. Do you guys remember the Himalayan review I did some months ago? In the end of the video I say that despite all its shortcomings, that bike felt perfect the way it was. And if someone tried to add more power or make it with better suspensions, things would just stop making sense. And in a way, the 390 Adventure feels exactly like that, like an Himalayan on steroids, and things simply don't make as much sense off-road, despite being more powerful and being a bit more lightweight. This being said, I'm not even going to complain about the forward tilted foot pegs or the 19-inch wheel or the cast rims, because this bike is clearly on-road oriented. At least this way we get to use tubeless tires, which is nice. So anyway, before I give you my final evaluation, please don't forget to like, to subscribe, to hit the thingy and to share. If you share this video on a KTM group, please make sure you also share it on an Himalayan group, so I don't lose too many subscribers. So here's my final thoughts. For city commuting, I enjoy this bike, it's powerful, it's fast, it's stable, but I don't feel enthusiastic about it because it felt stiff at the same time, so not that versatile. It's not a bike that you throw against the sidewalk, and climb the sidewalk. It's just, you have to ride it conservatively in a way, and I don't quite enjoy that. For long distance traveling, this bike has a lot of potential. The engine is great, very smooth, it can take a passenger, the ergonomics are well done. On a curvy road, this bike is really fun, really good. But for highway, it lacks aerodynamics. This bike really needs to go back to the wind tunnel for further testing and developing. As for off-road, I'm not convinced. And for all of you guys that think I'm wrong because you know someone that did something on one of these bikes, let me remind you that anyone crazy enough can take any motorcycle off-road, and as long as they can keep pedaling with their feet, they will keep moving forward. So, stories of success don't really mean anything when you are evaluating a bike's true capacity. But like we say in Portugal, it's enough of hitting the little blind man. So, sorry KTM fans and 390 owners, I really wanted to like this bike, but from an adventurous perspective, I don't think I can. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my opinions, I hope this was useful. See you next week and happy rides!